is that at page 19 of his affidavit, he realizes, or they realize, they made a mistake. And so they correct themselves about everything they've told you in their affidavits. So at paragraph 63, they close the affidavit. They say, I swear this affidavit in support of the petitioner's petition to nullify. So they close it. They then realize we've made a mistake. They reopen it. That the press statements by Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu are based on data that was available at the time. We note that they've made some mistakes, that we inaccurately recorded things in our reports. And he says, Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu noted missing serial numbers in Form 34B for Ndebes. This form does in fact have serial numbers. They correct themselves. They then correct themselves, and this is the point I was going to, about the voters' register. Though Kura Yangu Sauti Yangu noted that there were differences between the number of registered voters in the gazetted register and the announced register numbers, this was true, but the differences appear to have been due to the inclusion of prisoners in the county totals. That is the direct answer. They had skipped out prisoners from the register in their calculation. So please discount everything they've said in that affidavit on that subject. I then move on account of time, to the question of the register.
I'm sorry, I was just checking. You're reading from the same affidavit?
Yes.
So in one part of the affidavit, it says one thing?
Yes.
And then down the line, it reverses an earlier assertion.
Actually, on one part of the affidavit, it says many wrong things. And then at the end, it says the one right thing that cancels all the many wrong things. I then move on to the second point, and I think, my Lord, the Chief Justice did ask this question yesterday, and this was the question of the manual register that was available at all polling stations. The manual register is a requirement of statute, and you will find the provisions for that at Regulation 61, Sub-Regulation 4 of the Election General Regulations. I know the ABC is telling me 69 here, but they're wrong, I think. I'm quite right, I know. I'm sure about what I'm saying. I'm looking at the regulations here. It is Regulation 61, Sub-Regulation 6, 4A. I have it here with me. I then move on, and I had many things to say about the voters' register, but time does not permit me. I will just direct this court, as I said, to the affidavit of Davis Chirchir on that subject. But permit me to close that subject of the register with the provisions of Article 83 of our Constitution. Article 83 of our Constitution requires that in interpreting or in assessing any question as regards the conduct of the election or the registration of voters, we are to interpret it pro-voting. We are to interpret it pro the registration of a voter and not anti the registration of a voter. In other words, we are to encourage people to vote, we are to encourage people to participate, and not to throw administrative roadblocks in their way.